Okay, German 3. Today I'm going to show you how to put together your notebook. As I've mentioned to you, this notebook is going to be really important to help you be successful in class, to keep all your materials together, and also I will be grading your notebook from time to time. You can see what exactly I'll be grading on the rubric that I gave you to put in your notebook, but just to keep in mind as you're putting it together, a couple of the things are going to be your neatness as you put it together. Any sort of decorations you want to do, any sort of colors, anything like that, that's totally up to you. You can customize it however you want. I do, however, need you to follow the format that I'm telling you. We need to all have the same thing on the same page so that we can all find what we need easily. So keep that in mind. Also, as you're watching this video, feel free to pause at any time and work on whatever I was just explaining and then restart the video or start it again from where you were, and then keep going that way. So, materials you need for this, I've got my notebook here, a heavy-duty one with a plastic cover. I've got some pens. You at least need a black pen. I also used a colored pen, some scissors, and you'll definitely need some tape. So, here we go. Okay, first, on the inside here, I have taped your hall passes. I just put 4 pieces of tape here, 1 in each corner, pretty easy, and then that way anytime you need to use a hall pass you can just open up your notebook and then I'll just stamp the square for you and you don't have to worry about keeping up with it. Where is it? It's in your notebook with everything else. Okay, and then we've got our title page. I did mine on a piece of computer paper and then taped it into the notebook. You could do that, you could color something, you could print something off online. It doesn't really matter to me. You can decorate it any way you want. Just make sure you include the name of the class, Deutsch 3, and your name. If you do decide to do it on a separate piece of paper and tape it in, what I found to be the best way of doing that is to put tape here. I put 3, 1, 2, 3, and then once you've got those in, then I came over on the other side and I just put 2 pieces of tape, one here along the edge and then one up towards the top along the edge, and that kept it in pretty smoothly. So that's what I would recommend. Okay, then we get to our first real page. This is going to be our table of contents. Okay, so here's our table of contents. We're starting off at the top with Inhaltsverzeichnis, which literally means table of contents in German. Inhalt means content. Okay, and I put all of this in German and in English, at least on the first page. Oh, there I go beeping again. Okay, so as I mentioned during class, you should have all of your pages numbered at the bottom outside corner. So you'll see here I started with 3 because there was the title page and then a blank page that was 1 and 2. Here we've got 3, and then if you look, I've got 4 and 5, 6, 7, and so on and so forth. So make sure you've got your pages numbered. So on page 3 is when we start our table of contents, our Inhaltsverzeichnis. So at the top you'll notice that I wrote that Inhaltsverzeichnis in German and then in English in parentheses. I'd like you to do the same. And then I set up my table of contents here. I used a ruler for mine, or you can use the edge of a piece of paper or something to make sure your lines look nice. You're going to be looking at this page a lot. So we started on the left with the date, Datum, again in German and then in English, and then Thema, the topic, and on the right hand side you see the Seite, S-E-I-T-E, which is page. Once you start putting things into your notebook, then we'll come back to the Inhaltsverzeichnis and we'll enter those different things in there and put in the page numbers. All the things that we're doing today don't really have dates that go with them because they're things that you'll keep using, so you don't need to worry about that column for right now. But do set up this whole page so that you can use the whole page. See, my lines go all the way down to the bottom. Because we'll have a lot of things in here, you can see already how many I have. We're going to have a few pages of table of contents. So you're going to make that same kind of chart on the next few pages as well, just like I've done. Note that on these pages I didn't put the English, okay? Because we already had the English, we don't really need it again. So all I put was the German. All I want you to put on these is the German. Again, these go all the way to the bottom. My pages are numbered, so you should have your Inhaltsverzeichnis and then 2 more pages of it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what page am I on now? On page 7. So all the way through page 7, you want to do the same thing for your table of contents. Set it up the same way. Once you finish that, we'll move on to the Mine and Knowlton section, My Grades. Okay, this is where you are going to be able to keep track of your grade as it goes. Obviously, you guys know by now that I do update Edline pretty frequently, so it's not like I'm going to stop doing that. But this allows you to keep track of that as well, and sometimes in more detail than Edline lets me put the grades in. So, just like on that first table of contents page, here I have both the German and the English. So again, we've got Mine and Knowlton, my grades, then we've got the Datum or date again, Aufgabe, which is assignment, okay? Then I just put points earned and points possible. And then on the right, the Note or grade. That would be your actual grade. If you're calculating it all out. I'll show you that in a second. Okay. If you want to make your lines look exactly like mine, which you certainly don't have to, just pretty close, this length right here was 1.5 inches. That's 3/4 of an inch, and that's 3/4 of an inch. Again, not important that yours is exactly the same, but in case you're trying to make it look like that. And this is page 8. Okay, and just like we had with the table of contents, where we had one page in German and English, and then the rest of the pages were in German, I'm going to do the same thing here. So the next page is also Mine and Knowlton, but you'll see that my labels are in German, except there, points earned, points possible, kept it in English, and just squished it into one line. So, again, we're going to do a few pages like this. Let's see how many. 3, 4, that's 3 and 4. Okay, so that should go through page 11. All the way through page 11 should be Mine and Knowlton. When you finish with that, you can probably put your ruler away if you're using one. Okay, here we've got our quarter and semester grades. Now I gave you this sheet as part of your packet to take home and work with your notebook. So you can cut it out all nicely, or you can just cut it out in a square. At the top, you should label it quarter and semester grades, and then tape this in. I did tape here and here, and then like there, kind of in the armpits, and then at the top and bottom as well. But I'm sure you can figure that out on your own. This is page 12. So on this page, you will be able to keep track of your quarter grades, your midterm grades, just so that you remember where you are and where you want to be. Okay, next we've got the notebook check rubric. This page is really easy. All you do is stick it in there. I cut mine out just so that it fit the page a little bit better, but you can just tape the entire page in. Like I did on that very first, on that title page, I would tape here along the edges, and then here along these edges as well on the outside. That seems to be what keeps it in the most neatly. This is page 13. Okay. This next page is for your syllabus, which you should have. And since the syllabus is two-sided, we want to be able to see both of the sides. So I just put tape here along this edge. I did 3 pieces, top, middle, and bottom. And that kept it in. You don't need anything over here because you want to be able to open it up. Now, since I put a piece of paper here, you can't see my awesome page number in the corner. So I wrote it on top so that we can still see that this is page 14. Okay. Over here, we are going to put our cultural activities information. But I haven't given that to you yet, so you can just leave it blank for right now. That is 15, 16, 17. So if you turn to page 18, this is where you're going to have Gebete. That's your prayers. You should label it that way. And then you can put your prayers. This is for first and second quarter, because we're very ahead like that. Again, this is page 18, and again, you can either cut it down or you can tape the whole thing into your notebook. It's up to you. If you tape the whole thing in, just make sure that you can still see a page number. Just write it in on top there. Okay, this side will be for our third and fourth quarter prayers, so you can leave that blank. Page 19. We are almost done. Okay, here on page 20, you're going to put in the tutoring log. Once again, you can put in the whole sheet or you can cut it down. Just tape that in. It's page 20. And then finally over here, we're going to put our grammar terms reference guide. We're going to be working on that over time, so if you just want to put the title, that's really all you need for right now. Once you've finished all of those things, we ended on page 21. Turn back to the beginning and to the table of contents, and you want to fill in the information for those sheets that you just put in. And then if you want, you can just copy mine because that includes the cultural activities that we haven't put in yet. So we've got the titles exactly the way we put them on those pages, and then what page they're on. That way if I'm looking for, say, my notebook check rubric, I don't have to flip through my entire notebook to find it. I can just check my table of contents and know what page to turn to. Boom, there I am. Easy. Okay, so because we all need to be on the same page, or we all need to have the same thing on the same page, that means it's really important that your pages are all numbered and that you don't tear out pages and use them for other things, like turning in an assignment or taking notes for another class, because then your page numbers are going to get all messed up and then you're going to have a hard time finding things and it would be problematic. So just keep the spiral just for German and it'll be great. Okay, anything else? I believe that is it. So make sure you have this done by next week, and we will start adding things to our notebook during class as well as we do that. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great weekend. Tschüss, bis nächste Woche.